Hey everybody, thanks for joining tonight. I just want to introduce myself. I'm Kongmeng from Life Transformation Church. I'm serving as the ministry pastor for the year 2022. And ministry can be summed up very simply. It's to love and serve other believers. Now, part of loving and serving on other people is that you would utilize your gifts and your talents. And that's one of my responsibilities is to help you understand, to discover what those gifts are, how God has shaped you to become the person that you are today. But then there's a problem. A lot of us, we don't even understand ourselves. We don't understand how we've been shaped, how we've been gifted, how God has created us, why He's brought us through so many experiences. And when we don't understand our own identity, it's hard to love on other people. It's hard to serve His people. It's hard to do all these things to help other people get their needs met when we ourselves are struggling. A lot of people in this world, they struggle in finding worth. And this is true for both you and I, and it's especially true for those younger than us, the teenagers, the young adults. And that's another one of my focuses for this year, is that I'm here to help guide the youth and the young adults to really help them to shape their perspective, their view of the world, and let it not just be to follow the patterns of the world, to follow the newest craze, and we haven't met in a while. We've got a lot of things planned for 2022, but we need your help. Our young people, they're in this stage of life where they really struggle with identity, because the world is telling them that they have to look a certain way, they have to act a certain way, they have to have this much education, they have to work this hard, and it's a lot of pressure, a lot of stress for them. And so we need your help and bringing them back to church, and just encouraging them to come and join us. And right now, we don't have a meeting place. We don't have a time where we get together physically because of the pandemic that's going on. It's hard to find a safe place for us to meet together. But we are working on things to get it going, and this in the near future here, we will be providing more news to you guys so that you can get your youth involved with us. Now, one of the focuses for 2022 is understanding our faith, discipleship, growing to be more like Christ, and it's important for us to understand our value, because who created us? God did, and He did it very skillfully, just like a master craftsman, like a carpenter, just shaving off every piece of wood so that it's perfectly shaped with everything else. He designed you for a certain purpose that only you could fulfill. And, He understood your value. And that's why He chose to send Jesus Christ to die for you. Now, those who accept this gift of Jesus Christ have also inherited the responsibility of guiding others to Him. And John chapter 8, verse 12 says that when Jesus spoke again to the people, He said, "I am the light of the world. Whoever follows me will never walk in darkness, but will have the light of life." And then we get in Matthew chapter 5, verses 14 through 16, He says that you are the light of the world. He's talking to us. A city set on a hill cannot be hidden, nor do people light a lamp and put it under a basket, but on a stand, and it gives light to all in the house. In the same way, let your light shine before others, so that they may see your good works and give glory to your Father who is in heaven. Now, we're talking about light here, and the reason why we talk about light is because He has instilled that within us. Now, when he was in the world, when he was walking amongst the people, he said to them that I am the light. But then he charged us with a responsibility for us to also be a light. And as Christians, the meaning of the word Christian is to be a follower of Christ. And if he is a light, then it should be our goal to imitate that and also be a light. Now, what is a light? And why is being a light important? Well, a light gives us a few different things. I'm going to go over three things about light and what it gives us. Number one, it gives us life. Now, imagine the world without a sun. It would be a cold and dark place without any life, because the sun gives us energy, gives the rest of the world life basically, because if you think about it, plants, right? Plants use the sun's energy to process carbon dioxide into oxygen, which we as humans we need for survival. And so without the sun, there would be no energy, and that means plants wouldn't be around. The world would be cold, dark, desolate, like a wasteland. And that's not the kind of world that I would want to live in. And so that's important for us because our lives should be a source of energy for the people around us, for the rest of the world to see. Now, moving on to the second thing that light gives us, imagine if you were blind. Now, without light, that's pretty much how it would be. You wouldn't be able to determine how big or little things are. You wouldn't be able to see how far away, how close things are. You wouldn't have any perspective on the world, on how things look like, or where they are. And without those things, it's hard to know where you're going, right? People who are blind, they have a tough time walking anywhere, and especially for those who have never seen the world, have never seen the things that we've seen, it would be tough. Now, on the spiritual side, you can imagine there are people living in darkness. There are people who they don't know what is good, what is bad. They don't know what is right or wrong. They don't know. They don't have any measurement for the world, and that's important for us because your life should be a guide for those who don't know how to live, for those who don't know who to turn to, because you've already received the light, which is Jesus Christ, and it's your responsibility at this point, to turn them to the one who can light the way, the one who is, the light. Now, the third thing about light is that it allows us to see color. And I'm not old enough to have been in the age where there were black and white TVs only. I grew up in the age of color, but sometimes those shows come on and you watch them, and the people have a lot of character. And the reason why is because there's no color. Like visually, there's no color. It's just black and white. And when you think about it that way, man, it can be really dull. Um, Without light, you wouldn't be able to see, the color spectrum, all the colors of the rainbow. It's not possible without light. Just like when you're in your bedroom at night with no lights on, you don't see anything. Everything's dark, and nothing has color, unless you're on your phone. But that's a different story because there's a light there. Now, color, has the power to influence your mood. It has the power to make you happy, make you sad, make you angry if it's not a color that you like. And color is so important for artists, because they give a lot of inspiration. You say the color red, and a lot of people they know the one color, but you say the color red to an artist, and they see the whole spectrum of what red can be, how they can use it, and it's just a source of inspiration. And so it's important for us because our lives should be full of enrichment to those around us. It should be a source of inspiration for people. And so you combine all of these things together. Being, giving life to others, being a guide to others, and being enrichment to others, and being a light that's an important responsibility. And we were created with the potential to be all of these things for the world. And again, light is needed because the world is in darkness. If all we ever did with our life was to imitate the darkness, try to be like the rest of the world, then Jesus Christ, he didn't die for anything. Our faith is stronger than that. Our faith, is bigger than that. Jesus Christ, his light is shown so brightly to the rest of the world that, no one can refute how much impact he had on the rest of the world. And, he's called us to be stand-ins, to be representatives for him, to be the light for the world. And just like in the verse in Matthew, light's meant to illuminate and expose. It's supposed to be put on a stand, not hidden under a basket. And if it is, then it's useless. But our role as a light is meant to be one to shine, brightly, and it's not, for the purpose of ourselves. It's not so that others can look at us and praise us for how good we are and all the cool things that we can do. No, the reason why we do all of these things is because we've already received the gift of life from the light of the world, and it's not so that we receive anything, but so others can see how good he is. And so for 2022, I want to encourage you guys to discover, what makes you tick, what gifts you have been given, what experiences have shaped you to become, to discover, your light, so that you can shine brightly for the rest of the world. And that's all I have for tonight. Thanks for joining us. I hope you guys have a good rest of the evening.